The rebels have awakened the sleeping giant. The Empire is coming down on them with a vengeance. It is so exciting. This show is just so fantastic so far, and although there isn't much action, except for those, episode 3, episode 6, where we kind of get a final episode to each 3-episode arc, I don't think there needs to be that much action. A recent poll suggests that there doesn't need to be action in this show because that is not what people like most about this show. There are so many other things, the plot, the dialogue, the characters, that people like a lot more. The world building is another one. We're going to talk about all that tonight, why people are loving the dialogue of this show more than the action, as well as a brand new game segment called Wikipedia, Fact or Cap. We're going to play that. You guys can play along in the chat. It's going to be a great time, so stick with us. So to anyone joining us for the first time, hello, and welcome to Coffee on Korriban. Welcome back to the show. It is great to be here with you on Monday night, like I try to be every Monday night. A little bit late tonight, but that's because I was getting the game ready. You guys all in chat can play along with that later on in the show. But first, let's get to my favorite comment of the week. That comes to us from Mr. Miller. He says, Andor is so well crafted, and to isolate any element would detract from the rest. I can't say I prefer one thing to another. It's like loving Cajun chicken and asking you if you prefer paprika, chicken, salt, garlic, cayenne pepper, oregano, or onion powder. That is exactly how I feel about this show. All of the parts come together, and to say that one part is your favorite and the rest are not good is really not the case. There were so many comments on that poll saying, where's the all of the above segment? Where can I click on that? Because it really does feel like most people feel that this show as a cohesive unit is just as close to perfection as we have gotten so far from Disney with anything Star Wars related, up there with Rogue One. A lot of people have said that. Let's say hello to everyone in chat real quick. Let's get some sips out. Matt Cave, here's a sip for you. Star Wars guys, here's a sip for you. Charlie, here's a sip for you. Leia Rose, here's a sip for you. Israel Garcia, here's a sip for you. Dawn, here's a sip for you. Aussie Star Wars Nerd, here's a sip for you. Maximus, here's a sip for you. Justin Scott, here's a sip for you. Nek Badesh, here's a sip for you. Stanley's, here's a sip for you. Mrs. Coffee on Korriban, here's a sip for you. I love you. KG, here's a sip for you. And Zelma Jank, here's a sip for you. Wow, that was a lot. So we are, like I said in the intro, going to talk about the dialogue of this show, as well as a recap of episode 7, because there was a lot in that episode. A lot. Oh man, I wish I had Nightbot set up. Nightbot. Okay, Nightbot, kick him if you can. Lemon Meerkat, here's a sip for you. Anyway, as we said in the intro, we're going to talk about the dialogue and breaking down this episode because there was a lot in there, and the sleeping giant has been awakened. The Empire is coming back full force, and as Father Time said last week, they were called into that meeting, all hands on deck. You are not going home until we figure this out. It was really cool to see Admiral Yularen. We're going to talk about all of that, as I keep saying, but we're going to bring in our guests. And first, this man needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. Please welcome the Matt Cave. So how do you feel, General Kenobi? How do you feel about this last episode we got, number 7? Quick thoughts. I thought that was my clip playing again.
Sorry, I had a hairball. I'm loving the show, dude. That 7th episode was this show is so on point with the details it's unlike any other Star Wars.
Right. And that doesn't necessarily mean details as far as like Easter eggs or fan services, or you have to know Arabesh to read the sign on the wall. The details as in they are carefully constructing this world and this plot and this whole leading up to the rebellion. So I completely agree with you. Let's bring in our next guest. It's always a surprise to have him on.
Surprise! Bad.
Father Time.
Hey, hello. Good to see you. I
That's
am
the energy we like.
No, I am so excited for this stream after your little intro. This episode, I had to sneak around and watch it twice because it was so good.
I feel like a lot of people were feeling the exact same way. There are so many little nuggets to dig into in this show, and again, it comes back to the dialogue, like little subtle hints. One in particular I want to touch on a little bit later, but let's bring
exciting
in
dialogue stuff.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear it. Let's bring in our last guest. Well, thank you. This guy, I met up with him in person. I wish I added some things in, but I met up with this guy. He was in town. We went to Dollywood. We filmed some videos together. You guys know him. You better love him. You better be subscribed to his channel, or I'll punch you in the clove. I'm going to punch him right in the clove.
I got yeeted!
Thank you for introducing me with that clip.
You're very welcome. So what do you think about Andor episode 7? I know we watched it together, and
I hate it. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing Disney's ever done with Star Wars.
Oh man.
No, for real. You're right. We watched this together, pretty much sitting there at that table you're sitting at, and yeah, I was getting into it just as much as you were. And yes, this is definitely a slower action-wise episode than episode 3 and episode 6, but that's not where the strength of this show is. It's on its world building, and I chose in your little poll that you pulled up there, I voted dialogue more so than the world building, but really it's both together.
Right. And what really surprised me about that poll, and I didn't add it in, so I can't bring it up. Out of, I think it was like 5,000 votes, action got the least at only 4% of the vote. 4% of the vote. And that's, I mean, that's not the entire fandom, but 5,000 votes is significant. That's a lot more than I have subscribers. So there's a lot of people that don't necessarily watch my channel and, align themselves with how I think about things. And they still, only 4% said that action was their favorite thing about this show, which tells me that people aren't in this for the action. If they were, they probably have fallen off the bandwagon by now. I would assume.
I'm really nervous to figure out one day when Disney goes, wait, what's Andor was doing? What? There's no action? Let's stop that and let's change it. So.
And that's been my fear from the very first, when they dropped the first 3 episodes. That was my fear, saying, holy cow, this is what we've wanted. This is real. It feels like Star Wars. It feels so legitimate and substantial, but I'm afraid that it's not going to pull in the money, which is what ultimately determines where they go in the future projects. So that would be my fear. Yes, image polls and polls in general get thousands of votes. Yeah, specifically the image polls, and I'm a little bummed out that they only allow 4 options on those polls instead of the 5 if you do just words. But yes, the image polls, because it's so easy for someone to click something super quick and keep scrolling, even if they don't watch stuff. And then, your videos get in their feed and the red arrows pull them in. So that's the goal with that.
You cracked the code.
Also, a really cool piece of news. We just hit 1,500 subscribers, which is insane. 2 weeks ago, I was in the 800s. And so to be halfway to 1,000 since then is really insane. So if you guys are new to this channel and you've recently subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is a great community, and the discussions you guys have been having in the chat, in the comment sections of the videos is top notch.
So
really,
Lemon Meerkat,
really
I love the action too when it happens, but my main thing is it doesn't have to have all action.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with the world building and the dialogue, but I do love the action. I think it's done well. There's no cheesy acting. There's no junky screams or anything weird. So,
and a lot of people were commenting, they love the action, but they recognize it wouldn't be worth anything without the dialogue and the world building and all the setup, which really pays off. We saw that last week in episode 6, the payoff of the heist, and people were saying, finally some action. But if we had just jumped straight there without learning about these characters and about what they're doing on this planet, it wouldn't have meant as much.
And as far as action goes, I kind of find I'm very solidly in the camp of, to me, Star Wars, what makes Star Wars is the Jedi, the Sith, the lightsabers, the Force, and all of that, which so far we've had zero of that in this show. But in a weird way, I'm kind of, well,
it's a little bit. It's a little bit
I
refreshing.
don't miss it mostly, but there is still that nagging part of me that's like, but I want the lightsabers. I can't help it.
Yeah, and I mean that's original Star Wars. Getting back to that, and especially if we grew up with the prequels, the lightsaber duels and the Jedi and seeing the established orders like that is what we're used to.
And we know they're around. This is the time period where they're doing their thing. So who says they won't be there?
I think one thing that I haven't really heard people talking about is this show makes the Empire feel larger than we've seen before.
Yeah, 100%.
It is. There is especially the ISB scenes where they're talking about sectors, and each sector has how many thousands of systems or thousands of planets. Like
they're large enough to control tightening the noose around the neck of the entire galaxy. When they say, all right, let's put it into play all across the galaxy, they're that large.
Right. Yeah, it's a nice break. And then the Star Wars we've known will come back eventually.
Of course.
In fact, after season 2, we get right into Rogue One, which gets right into A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I don't think by the end of this series, after the second episode, we will be feeling burnt out of not seeing the Force and Jedi and lightsabers and stuff. I think it'll be exactly what it needs to be right now, leading up into what we've known before.
Yep. And we got
real quick. Can
Jedi
you highlight that comment that the Stanleys just put?
Sure.
Because I've said this exactly multiple times. In fact, I think I said it when you and I did our reaction, but unfortunately, that part of the video got lost.
Right.
The way that they're making the way that they're making Andor is the exact opposite of how they made shows like Mando, like Boba Fett, and Kenobi, where those three shows are very much like a Saturday morning cartoon to varying degrees of success. Andor is more adult, more slow-paced, more dialogue-driven. And airing to one extreme to the other for anything is never good. So I think for them to like make the best show possible, they need to find some form of happy medium between the two, like the Stanleys is saying here.
And I think based on the trailer, we're going to get some of that combination in Mando season 3.
Yeah, I don't think you have to have one or the other. I think
and based on the feeling of Mando 3 trailer, it felt like it took itself a lot more seriously. Like, okay, we're working towards the Mandalorians rising up and coming together, and maybe there's going to be a giant battle, but it seems serious. Like we're getting into actual lore and storytelling as opposed to episodes of a cool, entertaining TV show. So I think we are going to combine that going forward. However, I do like the taste that the flavor that Andor is giving us so far, and I hope that stays its own thing, because it's, I think, really refreshing to see a lack of cheesy jokes and comedy every 5 minutes. I really like the difference.
And bad mechanics.
the mechanic lady, Kalamato. Donna, here's a sip for you. I think this is my first time seeing you around.
Hi, Donna.
So if you are a recent subscriber, I really appreciate it. Hope you are enjoying your time here. Ted says he doesn't think Disney is capable of that. Well, they're capable of what we're getting in Andor so far. So
that's why I said they're going to look over the shoulder and like, what's happening with that Andor thing? Wait, what? Right.
The way I look at all these pieces to the Star Wars puzzle is that I'm always looking ahead to the big picture and the rewatch. As these shows come out, as the new movies come out, as all these pieces fall into place, I'm thinking about when I'm going to rewatch all of this, because I always end up going on my run where I'm like, I'm starting at the beginning and I'm going to just go. And then all the new pieces fall into place. And that's how I did recently, where I rewatched Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian season 1 and 2 and put everything all together in order.
Right.
So
Whereas I'm doing the opposites, and I'm looking at every single thing now, with the exception of the 6 original movies. I'm looking at everything in isolation. Do I like it on its own, or do I not?
Right.
Something I think you need to keep in mind, though, too, is just as excited as we are about getting Andor, there was people just this excited about Rey and her whole, set of movies.
That is true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's different things for different people, and it just happens to be our turn right now, or at least mine. I love this, which I'm glad that it's like that. So,
Yep. So what are some of the standout moments that you guys saw in episode 7? Because I know I have a few, and we talked about this a little bit, Paul, about the dialogue scenes. There were 3 in particular that we noticed, but I want to hear you guys and what stood out to you. Matt, you go first.
The one
Paul,
that I can
go ahead.
Sorry, the one that I can think of right off the bat is when Mon Mothma is talking to her senator friend, and they're pseudo speaking in code to each other. Being like, I don't know if I should tell you this. You might find my politics a bit strong for your taste, but basically, I'm a rebel. But I'm saying that. But I'm not saying that I'm a rebel.
He's not to be trusted. Smile. Yeah, and that whole scene was brilliant, because we're, as the audience, we don't know, like, is this guy like fully invested in, like, okay, let's get this rebellion going, or is he like going to be a reluctant partner who we are going to have questions about? Is he going to stay loyal? Is he going to spill the beans and now everyone's dead?
You can see the relief
on his face,
and it was never said, but we all know,
right,
through conversation and the cleverly written dialogue.
Yeah, and that's the video I posted last night, was all about the dialogue. And there's a general rule in filmmaking that you want to show the audience things, not tell them things, which is why narration is such a terrible thing in movies, especially, into the movie. Like, you get past the first couple action scenes, and then it's like, and then they went off to find the other members of their tribe, or like words pop up on screen. That's terrible. But if you're gonna do dialogue and have your characters tell the audience the information, have the audience learn this stuff at the same time as one of the other characters on screen. So we are learning about, in the clip that I showed specifically, we are learning that this rebellion is all set up. It's set up, it's ready to go, pieces are moving, things are in motion, and it can't be stopped at this point. And we're learning that at the same time as Mon Mothma is learning those things. And her acting is fantastic in that entire scene, with her shaking breathing, her lip quivering in the shop. Yep. And having to put on a fake face for Cloris, punch him right in the Cloris. But so the acting of those two is phenomenal, which I think really sold that scene. But the dialogue is perfect. And one of the things that I don't remember who it was, one of the comments on that video said, if you notice, when he picks up that bat thing, the club, he says, when was a weapon ever made and not used, or something like that. And so people were saying, whether they're actually specifically talking about it or not, that's a reference to the Death Star. That is saying, look at, the Empire is a weapon. They're going to use that weapon. Right now, they might be tolerating these other systems that are not exactly going along with their ways, but they're tightening their grasp so slowly that we're not even noticing anymore. And sooner or later, they're going to use that weapon, whether he knew that he was talking about the Death Star or just the Empire in general. He said, look, it's going to come to where the Empire is so strong in how it silences dissent, we're not going to be able to have opinions anymore. And I guess there's parallels to our current time as well.
Yeah, I've thought that through watching that whole thing.
Right. And you can read into whatever politics you want. Like, some people were saying, I guess Matt or X-Wing mentioned that some people said in articles that Mon Mothma represents Nancy Pelosi. I don't know about that, but anyway, you can read into it whatever you want. But just that scene in particular, whether he's talking about the Death Star or not, was really important. And she responded with, she responded with people will suffer. And he said that's the plan. Like, we know people are going to suffer. We want the Empire to get agitated and make their moves so the people can rise up and see, look, this is how they're treating us. We need to do something about this. We will join this rebellion. Something needs to happen to make them join that cause.
There's so many good little pockets of communication in this whole episode. Like when he was talking to what's her face, his mom, fake mom, and she's like, I can't go and you can't stay. And that whole exchange was pretty enlightening.
Yep. And you could feel the emotion on that actress's face and conveyed to us, like, that's her son.
I keep thinking she's blind. Like, she's not looking at him. She's kind of like looking off to like nowhere. I don't know.
I don't know. She's
could be.
She's stumbling around the room.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But that, the shop scene, and then also the ISB meeting with, the two ISB meetings, the one with Yularen, which was really good. The big boss coming in. And then also the other one with Partagaz and Dedra, and then the other guy, whatever his name is.
Where the other guy tries to throw Dedra under the bus.
Yep. And what really stood out to me, and Paul, I know you haven't seen this, but the dialogue was very similar to Pride and Prejudice. Oh, it's very, very sophisticated. There's a proper way of speaking, and you can get your insults in, but it's a very high class way of saying those insults. And I love that dialogue because it shows how professional and established the Empire is.
Me and Susty were having a conversation of which one of those two is in the rebel. Who's the rebel spy between those two?
Who's the rebel spy?
Yeah.
That does bring up an interesting question. I hope we do see Agent Callus at some point. I think that'd be really cool to see him at some point.
See, that same scene you were talking about with him holding the weapon and talking about that. It's interesting. Your take on it I find really interesting because I actually went to the opposite side. So I was thinking that he was talking about the rebellion being a weapon. And he's like, we have all these things in place basically, and why are we not going to move forward with this? She was shocked to hear how this all played out. And I'm thinking Luthen is going to be more aligned with Saw Gerrera and the partisans.
I think so.
Than he is with the normal rebellion. And I think what we're seeing right now is that definitive split in the rebellion, where you have the more extreme side versus what Mon Mothma is developing.
Yeah, and that's what Oscar says right here. This is the correct reasoning as to why he said that. Is that the rebel network is the weapon, and what he was saying to her was, why do we have this whole network established if we're not going to do anything about it? That's really what he was saying in that scene. But there's so many other things you can read out of that. Also, Oscar, I don't think I've seen you around here before, so if this is your first time, welcome. Here's a sip for you. And yes, Donna, Pride and Prejudice is an excellent story. In fact, Pride and Prejudice I love it. It's tied for my second favorite movie with Tenet, which there's a whole disparity between those two movies. Yeah. Revenge of the Sith, and then Pride and Prejudice, Tenet on the same level. We watch it every couple months. It's really good.
Yeah, it's on my house.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
It's actually really good.
I never
it's really
good. All the way through. Sinu.com says he has a theory on what motivates Luthen, but he's too afraid that it's right. Well, spill the beans, and I will.
Yes.
And yeah, there she is. Says Pride and Prejudice is her favorite movie. In fact, I used a lot of the proposal quotes from Pride and Prejudice in my actual proposal.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked.
It worked. Let's see. Justin says my prediction for the final episode is that in the final moments, it's going to zoom in on Tatooine and the glow of two suns. We see Pelimotto the mechanic, and it will lead into her spinoff
No, absolutely not.
as she digs up the lightsabers. And, hey, what's this?
And then
So
I wonder.
Except she
to bring
stabs
this
the
up.
pit droid.
Are there any Kevin Smith movie fans and anyone who has seen Clerks 3 or is going to see Clerks 3,
Mm-mm.
keep her in mind.
Okay.
There is a wonderful... There's so much Star Wars in that movie. Let's just put it that way. Clerks 3 is full of Star Wars.
I know nothing about it. I have no idea. Let's see. The Empire is tightening its
Wait, you
grasp.
got your Luthen.
Oh,
story
I got
here.
my Luthen thing.
Ooh.
Luthen had a son at the Jedi Temple. Remember that kid, Jedi kid from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, the one that got
Sars-
gunned down. at
Sars
Bail
Bandine?
Organa.
So, oh no. So George Lucas's son.
Yeah,
Is
Ah,
Luthen's son?
maybe
could be.
that would be cool.
And so he hates all things Empire because he knows the truth of actually what's going on.
Dude.
Could be. And that also might tie in with okay, picture this. What we were talking about a couple weeks ago was that Luthen knew librarian lady. What's her name?
Huh?
Jocasta knew.
Joe Costa knew. He knew her either because he frequented the Jedi archives as a historian and an artifact collector, or just Joe Costa knew had a network and she was one of the people that, if she needed things, he was her go-to guy. So what if he had a son who was taken from him at a very young age to be part of the Jedi Order, and he became this art collector as a front on Coruscant to stay close to his son?
I could buy that
It's very possible.
because obviously the kids aren't supposed to be attached to their parents, but that doesn't say the parents can't still be attached to them.
Right, because as a parent, wouldn't you want to be close to your kid
Yeah,
away at boot camp?
yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a theory, but it would be really cool. So the Empire tightening its grasp is grasp. I just invented a new word.
Isn't that the stuff on the side of the steak that you trim off? Gristle?
Oh, no one else is going to get this. Father Time, have you read the book How to Influence People and Win Friends?
No.
Anyway, that's aside. That's a total inside joke. None of you guys are going to get that. Anyway, I was thinking about that all day. I wanted to share it with you. Anyway, the Empire is tightening its grasp on the Rebel network, and now it is going to actually act on that. Yeah, KG's got it. Grasp right there.
There you go. It's official.
So now they're actually going to act on this. The giant is awake. What is their move? Their first move going to be?
Well, we've kind of already seen it where the Corpos police are now pretty much defunct, and the Empire itself has taken over the police duties of the planet that Cassian starts on. So we've already seen that much, and just going kind of changing the subject, that was another great scene, was seeing the parallels from the citizens' point of view of the stormtroopers and the clone troopers. How the clone troopers were doing the very same martial law tactics on that planet that the stormtroopers are, to the point of openly executing citizens.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can clarify this. When they were showing the airport scene and we had the stormtroopers watching everything that's happening, was that new or had that been going on a while? Was that showing this is now new because the Empire's got a grasp on it?
No. I think that's going on. I think the
was happening in
stormtroopers.
Solo.
Yeah, the stormtroopers are the army of the Republic, whereas the corpos are the security or police force, so to speak. So I would imagine in Coruscant, the stormtroopers have been established for quite a while. I would imagine they're a permanent placement in there. So, yeah.
So was that beach our desert planet for the show?
I think so. I think so.
Maybe.
Looked kind of nice. It was awful hearing the not Alan Tudyk voice in that KX droid.
Because we all got so excited.
Yep.
"Hey."
Yeah, but there was
Yeah.
too many of them walking around.
Yeah, I know, but still, like we know this.
I know,
character-
everyone
this-
saw it and was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
never mind."
That's like if we saw an identical unit to R2 or C3PO and it
With a
wasn't.
different beep.
Yeah.
I am TC-14 at your service.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was just, the ambassadors are Jedi Knights, sir.
Yep.
The clones were white. I think that was it. Well, our
It could have been.
don't be a racist. Yeah, and so something I didn't realize was that the lady that met with Vel was the artifact lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a debate going on in our house.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that is
I didn't
what it
either.
turned out to be.
I saw
Plus, he mentioned
someone
that.
post on, I think, Twitter or Facebook, one of the two, theorizing that the girl that met with Vel, whether that was Mara Jade.
No,
But
that's the art lady.
Yeah,
100% confirmed. It's the art lady.
okay.
Yeah. I don't
I
think
can't tell
I
if
don't
she's
think we're
a,
ever getting
she's a
Mara.
spy or not.
Yeah.
Like for the Empire?
Yeah.
Nah.
Well,
I don't
she
think
said
so.
they have spies everywhere.
That's true.
Mon.
They're talking about Chloris. I'm gonna punch him
And
right in the
Brazil, the
Chloris.
Brazil comments, yeah, for sure. Definitely looks like Brazil.
Like the country Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could see it.
like corruption and stuff?
No, the beaches.
the look, the actual look.
Oh.
Did you
All
know
right, well,
Brazil has K2 droids walking all over the place?
Oh, I forgot. I completely forgot. Inspired by Brazil. No, the movie. The movie Brazil? I don't know about that.
Haven't seen it.
So what do we think about the clones in that flashback? And was that Andor charging at them with the club?
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
So who was charging
Yeah,
at them
that
with
was-
the club? Just some person?
that
Wasn't that the person
Andor
that they
as a
showed
kid.
hanging?
That was teenager.
No,
Andor.
that was Clem that was hanging, his adopted dad.
And that was Cassian, like, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years old. Just
Charging?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely Casa. So how did he not get killed?
Well, I think they cut purposely there. I think we're going to see the rest of that scene. I would imagine someone comes to his aid. That maybe a character we've seen already, but maybe that's how they're going to bring someone else into this.
Right.
Before I forget, Jedi Hush, you won the mug giveaway last week, but I haven't heard from you in Discord, so make sure you message me in Discord so I can get your address and send that mug out to you, because I would hate to have to send it to someone else because you won, so I want to give it to you. So yeah, people are saying it was. I mean, they're clones post Order 66.
Yeah,
They've
done worse.
Actually, do we know if that was post Order 66 or pre? We don't know because that's right about probably the same time.
Because that was the very early clone armor, like transitioning into the TK units.
Which we saw in Bad Batch.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was so great. Yeah, I think we're seeing like this in between transition there. I think it's post Order 66 at that point.
Probably. But I do know they switched to the TKs or T something else. The phase 1 stormtroopers. They switched those pretty quickly. I'd say within a couple months.
Yeah.
is when they started
Star
doing
Wars
that.
has a comment there. That's pretty good.
They arrested him and took him to the juvenile prison place that he talked to Skeen about in episode 5. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Okay. I forgot about that.
So maybe he went to prison. Oh, no, because maybe Clem got hanged before that, and that's why he charged at him with the club. That would definitely make you a little upset, though, if you went to prison right after they hanged your dad.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
not
good.
good.
The officer with the clones is an Imperial. Oh, okay. In that flashback scene. So definitely post Order 66 then.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. They had a lot of that laying around. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so
It
much
was
that's
2
gonna
years
be
after.
going on here.
Says that for 13 years she walked the long way. That makes it 2 years after. Order
Lolita, that
66.
was my thinking.
Is
I
Vel
don't think
going to
she
rescue
knows.
Andor?
I don't think she knows she's going to rescue him. I think she's going to kill him and
Yeah.
then get him out.
Yeah, she's going to go to kill him because now he's in prison. He's a risk because of what he knows.
Yep.
Hmm.
So that was so funny when she was like, "This normally carries a 6-month sentence." 6
Yeah.
years.
6 years. Like, what?
Oops, that was the old rules.
Yeah. Or she just made it up on the spot.
Mm.
So.
It's so brutal.
But
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
right,
do
Isaac.
anything.
Seeing this form of the Empire, though, it's so good.
Ferrix was a separatist world, then it would definitely be post Order 60. Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're right. Didn't think about that. Is she in charge? I don't know. She seems pretty assertive.
I'm sure we'll find out more about her as the show goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
She did seem pretty much in command of that.
Yeah,
You
she
just
didn't
gotta do what I'm
say.
telling
She,
you to do.
yeah, she didn't even say Luthen says to kill Andor. She kind of just said like take care of it.
It needs
So,
to be done.
I'm just a tourist.
Yeah, I'm just a tourist. The
Are you
Aravesh on the
part of
cards
it?
for Cassian's prison sentence said he was suspected force sensitive and would get 25 years in prison, which is weird. That was the guy before, wasn't it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I did see someone comment something like that.
Yeah,
But
because
real
somebody got
quick-
sentenced right before.
Did the shore trooper that initially stops Andor, did anyone else learn that was Sam Witwer?
Mm-hmm.
The shore trooper,
Yep.
was it?
Yeah, that was
Yep.
Sam Witwer.
That's so cool.
And I kind of
That's
played
awesome.
and I kind of played a dirty trick on Darth Arlena, telling her, "Oh, by the way, Sam Witwer's in it," but I didn't tell her that he has such a minor role.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, it seems like a good place to break for now and play the game we have for tonight, which is a brand new game segment called Wikipedia Fact or Cap. All right. So the way we are
I
going
think it
to
was
play
Matt
this,
Cave that said the internet is forever. So
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So the way that this game is going to be played, and this I just made this up like an hour ago, threw it together, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to read you a fact about something on Wikipedia, and you guys are going to have to decide together as a group whether you think it is fact or cap.
All right.
So tonight we are going to be focusing specifically on Mon Mothma, and everyone in the chat, you guys can play along as well, whether you think this is fact or cap. So our first little Wikipedia fact or cap. Mon Mothma served as the New Republic's second chancellor after Leia Organa's first term.
I don't think so about that
Ooh,
one.
yeah.
I don't. My first reaction was no.
Yeah, I don't
No.
think so.
No,
I
you don't
think she was
so?
first. I think she was first.
And Dale said that the guy before him was 6 years. Or he says 6 years. The guys before him was the suspected force sensitive.
I was in prison for 6 years.
Stop spamming caps. I'm sorry, Israel. I don't know what Nightbot's doing. I haven't had time to actually like set it up. So
Oh, it's
ignore.
very moody when you first get it going.
All right.
Hmm.
So we see everyone in the chat is saying cap as well. Let's find out if it was cap or fact.
What?
So that is not true. And here's the Wikipedia.
Oh my
says, in the
goodness.
aftermath of Endor, the rebellion formed the new Republican headquartered the new Galactic Senate in Chandrila. Mon Mothma was elected as the first chancellor
Mhm.
of the new Republic Senate and intended to do away with Palpatine's emergency powers. So you guys
Nice.
all got that right. Congratulations. You did very good on that first one. The second one, if I can go to, again, the very last minute. Mothma was a professional smashball player before beginning her political career.
I
Ooh.
don't know. They would have called it Smash Ball.
You know what? That one is
Okay.
honestly so insane to think about that I'm going to say that's true.
I'll go
I'm
with
with
true.
Paul on that one.
Yeah. I'll
You gonna go
with
fact?
true.
All right, you guys going fact? Everyone in the comments, is that fact or cap that she was a professional
Oh, they're all
smashball
saying
player?
cap.
Yeah,
This is not
comments are
good.
going
They're all
cap.
saying cap.
Yes.
All right, panel versus chat.
All right, let's see. Let's see what the answer is. Was she a professional smashball player?
Oh,
Ooh.
What I said originally. I
Okay.
don't think they would have called it Smash. I'm just kidding.
All right, so let me pull it up here. In 32 BBY, she had joined the Republic Galactic Senate, becoming one of the youngest senators to date. At age 15, during the Chandrilan winter, Mothma fell in love, discovered Smashball, and her parents' imperfections. So she did play Smashball, but she was never professional, and it was not
Okay.
before her political
Yeah.
career. She became a
But-
senator at
So
14.
But what
tricky.
that article doesn't say is that she was a professional Smash Bros. Player who named Sora.
That's true.
Ah.
That's true. All right. This game is very interesting. Let's see. Everyone says fact, cap. I want to say cap, but probably fact. Yeah, it's very, very twisted. Yeah, Smashball. Who would have thought?
Hmm.
Pretty weird. All right. Mothma was arrested for colluding with the treasonous Jedi Order.
I'm going to say true on that one. That one sounds plausible enough.
I don't know if she ever would have been arrested though, because then I'm gonna say cap.
I'm gonna go cap.
You're gonna go cap.
But we have had too many caps, so
There's so many caps.
I'm going true on this one.
You're going true. Chat. What do you guys think? Was she arrested for colluding with the treasonous Jedi Order? True.
caps and
Fact.
false.
Caps and false. Caps and false. Let's see what it is.
He's right.
Oh.
And the Wikipedia article says during the senatorial arrests, Mothma was among the senators charged with colluding with the Jedi Order and treason. Yet she, like Bail Organa, was released after publicly claiming to be a loyal Imperial. So that one was absolutely fact.
Wow.
All right, next one. We've got a couple more to go. Mothma met Leia Organa in the Imperial Senate after Leia's first Senate appearance.
Doesn't seem too far fetched.
True. Also,
How
not
long
to
has
be
she
that.
known
Also, not to
Bail?
be that guy, but you spelled Leia wrong.
Thank you.
It's the NWO.
Thank you,
shirt.
Master
That's
Paul.
what's doing it.
You make me a little upset. I'm
Make
gonna
it
punch him
hit
right
it.
in the cloak.
And
I got yeeted.
If you need me to rip his arms out of the sockets, just say the word. Mac caves are known to do that.
That's true. They are.
I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna say
I'm
true.
gonna say
I'm
cap.
going yes. Also,
Matt Gabe's going cap.
Back to cap.
Let's see. Everyone says true, fact, true, cap. Oscar
Show me
says
that,
cap.
Anakin.
Smashball was a sport played in the galaxy during the Republic era. 15-year-old human Mon Mothma discovered Smashball during winter season. That's true. That is true, but she was never professional. All right. Did she meet Leia Organa after Leia's first Senate appearance? Let's find out if that's true.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I'm so
okay.
bad at this.
And the answer is Mothma knew the adopted princess from an early age and watched as she grew to become a politician in her own right. Mothma became the princess's political tutor, teaching her before she took her father's place in the Imperial Senate, and watched as the princess became a leader in the emerging rebellion against the Empire. So she knew Leia from when she was very young, which is very interesting,
Yeah.
according to Wikipedia. All right. Next one. Mothma and Bail Organa were accused of having an affair. And I know it says we're. Don't worry about it.
again, that one seems so insane that to me it kind of has to be true.
Yeah.
I'll say yeah.
I'm going to say true on that one.
Liar. All right. So you guys all say fact?
Fact.
You guys are all saying fact on that one? Well, let's find out.
He's right.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
And the
Okay.
Wikipedia article says, at another one of the dinner parties, Grand Moff Tarkin unexpectedly attended, and in order to hide the true purpose of the gathering, Queen Breya, that's Mrs. Organa, pretended to drunkenly accuse her husband and Mothma of having an affair, resulting in Princess Leia bursting into tears and Tarkin stomping out. So that is true. That actually happened.
I want to know more context behind that.
I
though.
do as well. I just scrolled through the article and found a couple things. All right. Last one for the game. Mothma topped the Empire's most wanted list after publicly condemning Emperor Palpatine as a dictator.
Oh, I gotta go
no.
fact on that one.
No.
Well, she got arrested for helping a Jedi.
Because yes,
she wants to
publicly-
speak out.
If you want a hint, she got arrested right after Order 66 because she was suspected of having been with the Jedi Order. So this is later, right as she joined the rebellion. That's all the hint I'm going to give you.
but here's the thing, though. Topping the Empire's most wanted list for in essence using her free speech, yeah, that would have put her on the list. But at the top, I don't think so.
I think it's her influence, though, that would put her at the top. And I think by the time we see her in Jedi, she's basically 100% in hiding. Like, she's not in any seat of power at that point.
Right.
I think she has a powerful voice, and that's what the Emperor is scared of.
I'm still
Okay.
not buying it.
So you guys are all in agreement that you're saying Cap.
I'm going fact.
I'm going fact.
Wait, you're going fact that she actually... Okay.
I'm going Cap.
Liar!
Yes.
I'm so bad at this game.
All right, and the answer is in 2 BBY. That's 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. Mothma fled from Coruscant after she was branded a traitor and immediately rocketed to the top of the Empire's most wanted list for giving a speech condemning the Gorman massacre. So it was not for condemning Palpatine.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it's like, that's
No, it was for her speech condemning the Gorman massacre,
massacre. Okay.
which we hear her talking about, right? Didn't we hear her talking about the Gormans?
Yep.
In
Yes.
episode 6, and no one was listening.
Yeah.
So she gave a speech, and then that is what made her top the Empire's most wanted list. So
True.
I think that was a pretty interesting game.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hope you guys all liked that. Hope everyone in chat liked that, and you guys played along. I know everyone was in there typing their answers, but I think that was very fun. This has been Wikipedia, Fact or Cap.
Darn it.
Forever.
It's interesting. I like that game because there's little details that I can tweak.
Yeah.
Yep.
She get the little trick
Professional
questions in there.
Smash
That's
Ball
fun.
player or just a Smash Ball player.
Yep.
But- all right. Well, we're going to start to wrap it down. Unless, Paul, you need to head out a little quicker.
The melatonin's starting to kick in, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to bed for work tomorrow.
Right on. Well, always a pleasure to have you on. I'm glad we got to dig through it a little bit more because
Absolutely.
if anyone didn't know, our reaction we did together was a little iffy on the quality. And all of our discussion breaking it down was lost, and I couldn't post that.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, I'm glad we got to hash it out tonight. That was a lot of
Absolutely.
fun.
And I suppose the final thing I'll say regarding Andor episode 7 is I am very much 100% invested in this show, which is more than I could have said for Book of Boba Fett and more than I certainly could have said for Kenobi. Hopefully it maintains my investment, but if not, then like I've already said, I really don't consider anything outside of the original 6 movies at least important to canon to me.
Right.
So,
Well,
what
I'm
if I
glad you're
lost the
enjoying
time?
it, and I think I'll take credit for bringing you back to the light side of the Force in that
Yeah.
regard, because you had no desire to watch this at all,
Right.
as of about a month ago. So I'm
Yes.
very happy that you are enjoying it, and we'll, I guess, see you wherever we happen to see you in the galaxy.
Yep. See you guys.
All right,
Peace,
have a good
sir.
night. Oh, I forgot to play a stinger outro. Oh well, whatever. So everyone in chat, I wanted to ask you guys, because I forgot to earlier, what would you rate episode 7 out of 10? Not 7 out of 10. What would you rate episode 7 on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to give it a solid 8.5.
I think I'm with you on that because we're again back to the start of an arc. And I love that. I love the beginning.
It's a really nice way to break up 12 episodes, because 12 episodes is a lot. I mean, think back to the Bad Batch. We had, what, 16 episodes, I think?
Yeah.
I think it was 16. And that got really, it dragged on towards the middle to second half of that season. So,
Oh, we got 8s, 9.5,
8s, 9s,
9, 4,
no
9.
7s.
6
Oh,
was
we got a
6.
6. Oh, we got a 6.
Bring in the 6.
Because we are coming off of the heaviest action of the show so far, right? The big payoff. And now we're pulling it back again. So it's you kind of look at it like a piece of music where you build up and you hit these major peaks, and then you kind of pull it back a little bit until you reach the big finale of the piece. It's going to be up and down, but I think the next episode coming, I think, is going to be a faster ramp up than we got prior.
Yeah. And what Lolita says right here, she loves that the women have such strong roles. Yes, and it doesn't feel forced.
Yes.
It's not like
The key.
I'm powerful because I'm a woman. It's that these women happen to be in very powerful positions. I mean, look at Leia in A New Hope. She's a princess, she's a senator, she's a warrior. But it wasn't like all of you are less than I am because I'm a woman. So there's none of that that's forced. It all seems very natural in the show. And we do have we got Vel, Cinta, Clea, Mon Mothma especially. These are all very powerful women. Yeah. But because they fit into those roles, they're not pushed into the spotlight.
I'm rooting for Deidre.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing about the quality character construction is we're rooting for her even though she's the bad guy. Yeah. She's not on the good side. Her whole goal is to stamp out this rebellion before it starts. But we're rooting for her because we know a little bit about her, and her enemy at this point is the other jerk face guy. And so we're caring about her. We've learned a little bit about Major Partagas. So all of the people, especially Cyril Karn, we empathize with him, even though he is a bad guy as well. And we don't know what part
he doesn't even think he's a bad guy. That's the thing.
Right. Which is what makes him so interesting. And a lot of the best villains think they're doing the right thing. I mean, think of Thanos. He thinks he's doing the right thing by wiping out half of the galaxy because, it's a scramble for resources, and he's flawed in thinking that, but his motivations are correct in his own mind. And so back to Cyril Karn, he thinks he's doing the right thing. 2 men were murdered. I have to investigate that. I can't just let that go. We can't become apathetic as an organization. We have to take care of these things. And he happens to be on the wrong side of the aisle. So
yeah. I hope we get into more.
For me in episode 7, I like it as a 9, but for me, I'm fading away. Oh, I'm like fading in and out.
Yeah,
I know. It's horrible. I need green behind me. It'll be better.
Get a green screen.
He's actually a hologram.
For me, the dialogue in this feels different. Episode 7 dialogue felt different than the other ones. Like I am in the conversation, like I'm a fly on the wall in this secret meeting, whereas the other ones I was watching things happen. I was watching the dialogue between people happen, but in this episode I was sitting at that table listening to my role as the Empire was coming down on everybody And in the dinner party, I was secretly sitting on the couch with them, and now I know what's going on in the secret meeting. It just felt different for me. I don't know how to explain
Well,
it. Really.
it puts you in the position of these characters. We're not watching it from above, seeing like, oh, what's going on. We are feeling what these characters are feeling. When Luthen is telling her about how the rebellion has actually started, we're learning that with her. When we're sitting with the banker guy, using code words and seeing like, okay, like we like the
Wink,
Empire,
wink.
right?
Yeah.
we're experiencing that with them. We're feeling the exact same way, and that goes to the quality dialogue and the storytelling, and the writing of this show is just too good to be a Disney thing. You guys still feel that way? It
That's
doesn't
why I
feel
keep
Disney.
saying they're going to look over the shoulder and like, how's that Andor thing going? Wait, what's it doing?
Right.
It's one of
right.
those things that, and
don't
I've
even
said
know.
this before with like on other streams, that I truly feel that Disney has released the grip on Lucasfilm and letting them fly.
Yep.
You know, they had to. They had no
Well,
choice.
that's what they did with Rogue One. They were putting all their eggs in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And so they said, "Oh, Rogue One, well, yeah, sure, go ahead and do that."
Yeah.
And that turned out to be the best one. And it seems like that's the exact same thing that they're doing with this show. Is they're saying like, all right, creative freedom, go ahead and do that. We're not going to try to sell merchandise because, I mean, how many backpacks of Grogu do you see walking through the mall
Everywhere.
every day? No one's going to have a Cyril Karn backpack walking down the street.
One.
I want a Cyril Karn action figure, honestly.
Dude,
It would be amazing.
I still want to know what action figures he had on his shelf.
Yes, I think they were clone troopers. I think they were Phase 1 clones.
but like in Rogue One, when Jen was
Jen Erso had her
she
little
had the little trooper.
stormtrooper doll. Yep.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to highlight real quick, Sinu.com says the most amazing thing about 7 is the verbal battles are even more tense than the action scenes. I completely felt that in the what's his name, Blevin, I think it is, and Dedra with their back and forth, again going back to Pride and Prejudice. They're very sophisticated, but they're still getting their jabs in. I was on the edge of my seat right then, like I want to know who's going to land the killing blow.
Yeah,
that's how it felt, which is amazing because there was. Am I right in thinking that there was almost no action in this aside from the flashbacks?
It's really just the flashbacks at that point,
and then the TX or the KX droid holding him up by the neck. That was pretty much it, I think.
Yeah.
So, I had a question. I don't know.
I think this next episode though has to go back to Karn like pretty heavy, because I feel like we've been away from him for too long at this point, and I don't want him to be a forgotten character.
Right. Flashback does. Yeah. I think a really long coat, Andor. Word on last episode was, yeah, I want one too. I keep saying the two things I keep saying most often when watching this show are, can I just go there? And I want to wear that. That's like, I seriously need an Imperial uniform. I'll get one sooner or later.
Speaking of the costumes, I don't have a picture of this, but it was the first thing I thought of. That on Ferrix, that's the first planet we were on, right? These guys are wearing this yellow uniform that I would swear is in the 2015 Star Wars Battlefront. If you watch the trailer for that game, the rebels are wearing that yellow uniform. And it was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, are these all people that are going to join the rebellion? And
because Marva is going to start their Ferrix uprising. Yep. But what was I going to say? I did have a point, I promise. And I don't remember it. Lego set.
Topic you're looking for.
This Good to see you here. Here's a sip for you.
I love that name.
Let's see. The parallels are just amazing. By the end of episode 7, Andor is in prison, and Cyril is also kind of in a prison of his own. Also, Andor
Nice.
list gets hanged like his father Clem. The story is for the ages. They're putting a lot of care into this. They're putting a lot of care into the writing and the details. Again, like we talked about at the top of the show, not in. Oh, ooh, that's a bingo. But then Nightbot got you. I gotta deactivate Nightbot. Don't worry about it. It's I knew. I gotta figure that out. But they're the details. They're putting so much detail in, but it's not random Easter eggs that only the super fans are gonna pick up on.
It leads to rewatch, is what it does.
Yes.
And it's going to lead to rewatch even more once it connects with Rogue One and by extension, A New Hope.
Yeah.
I really do see this show being very important to the lore and the overall story of Star Wars going forward, in the same way that Rogue One is. A lot of people, I remember,
Yeah, the whole
when
movies
Rogue
are
One-
done if Rogue One
Right.
doesn't happen.
Right. When Rogue One came out and we're like, oh, great, we get to see a story of rebels. Like, cool.
Mhm.
But now that it is so well connected with A New Hope, it's almost foundational. Like, if you're watching Star Wars with someone who's never seen it before and you're starting with episode 1, I mean, most people are going to go 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6. It's
Yep.
that foundational. It leads directly into the original. And I think Andor is going to a slightly lesser extent, but I think it's going to do that exact
You have
same
to
thing.
feed those in 1, 2, 3, Andor, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6.
You know, it builds this world that, as we're rewatching the movies and other pieces of the story, these are the points that are going to be in the back of our minds now. When they reference certain things, we're now going to think back to Andor.
Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. That's why seeing this all come together and why I can't wait for the full rewatch, because I'm just going to keep doing that as this new stuff comes out. I'm going to just add the next puzzle piece and then go.
Yeah, Marco says he was conflicted by the Star Wars cubicles at once. He saw it was a work prison, but also thought it would be an amazing space to work in. That's how I feel about this, like the whole show. Like, living on Ferrix would be miserable, but I just want to go there and look around. I keep saying that. Like, I want to wear that and I want to go there, which ultimately is what I'm in it for, the world building. I want it to feel like Star Wars, and I want it to feel real, and I want to go there.
I like that.
So,
Who just said that comment about the two prisons?
the one you carry around with you?
Well, it was in chat. Somebody was comparing, Cassian escaping his prison, and then Karn's going to escape his prison. Cassian will join the rebellion, and Karn will join the Empire. Both kind of in the same fashion.
Yeah, I'm the tourist on the bus.
Yeah,
telling him how awesome it is. Yeah. Yep.
That guy never came back.
Okay, if I ever get a house big enough to where I have like a full room, like maybe like a finished basement that I can like make up however I want, I will do myself the lighting, the walls, the texture, the floors, like the inside of the Death Star or a Star Destroyer or something. I even if it's like 1,000 buttons that do nothing but look cool, that's my goal. That's like my dream man cave. It felt weird saying man cave after saying Matt cave so many times.
Everyone can have their own Matt cave.
Yeah. The show is genius because it added to Star Wars and it did not copy. It's completely different from everything else we've seen, and it's completely awesome. I totally agree. And I feel like there's the different eras of Star Wars are for different parts of the story. In the original trilogy, we had the Western, the adventure, that go save the princess and defeat the evil bad guys, right? That was the original trilogy. In the prequels, we had the tragedy, the space opera, the drama, the long drawn out tragedy that everyone dies at the end. And then we got the sequels, which I don't really know exactly. Comedy, maybe, just because you're laughing at it. But then we have Andor, which is the suspense. Those are all different parts adding up to the larger picture of Star Wars. And so I guess that goes back to the people that say this isn't for them because it's not action heavy. Okay, wait for the next show to come out and then you'll like that. But as of right now, this is giving a lot of people what they wanted. They wanted a more mature Star Wars, mature in the sense of, I think the comment that sums it up most, and a lot of people have said this recently, Andor respects the intelligence of its audience. It doesn't make people feel dumb by having to feed them these cheesy jokes or these explosions every couple minutes. It acknowledges that people want to be invested in this story, and they will do that. So
yeah,
I'm really loving it. I'm glad you guys are too. And this episode, again, the first of this, I'm assuming 3-episode arc. It was a really nice start to that arc, and I can only imagine we had the confrontation in episode 3 with Cyril Karn and his men. We had the Aldhani heist in episode 6. Now that the Empire is getting fully involved, what kind of open conflict are we going to see in episode 9 when the Empire comes to bear and brings its force against this rebellion to try to squash it before it begins?
I'm thinking I think we're gonna get some brutality. I think
we're so
gonna
too.
See the Empire really bringing the hammer down.
Yep. I think after episode 9, which again, if that trend holds, the 3-episode arcs, after episode 9, we're going to think that could have been the end of the season, but we still have a whole nother arc left. I think it's going to be really satisfying in that sense. Because if first season was just the 6 episodes that we've gotten and it ended with the Aldhani heist, cool. I don't think we would have been really missing out on stuff, but we're only halfway done. It's almost like we're getting 2 seasons, or by extension 3 seasons, just with 3 episodes each, or 4 seasons. So I haven't even been looking at chat. Not only that it respects the intelligence of the audience, it respects more of the lore, the deep lore that fans love, to the little extended universe details. Yeah, it's adding to the story.
Yeah, see, that's a great point, because watching this show feels like reading an EU book. It's that detail oriented, and obviously books are a slower pace than watching a movie, and for a lot of audiences, people don't read the books that go with the movies. You know, I don't blame them. You know, it's a different type of audience. But it's like we're getting the novelization of Rogue One right now.
Right. Well, think about it this way. In the same way that episodes 4 and 5 set up episode 6, I feel like Andor is setting up Rogue One and the original trilogy, because now that we have the action that we got last week in episode 6 with the Aldhani heist, that was supplemented by knowing the backstory to how all this came about and the characters that we got in the previous 2 episodes. It's the same thing that Andor is going to fill in the gaps and make us care about this situation a whole lot more, to where then when we go to the original trilogy, we know what led up to them not only stealing the plans, but establishing the rebellion in the first place. Because that's what Rogue One did, is now we know where the plans came from. We know what they went through to get to that point. But we still don't even know how the rebellion was formed. And so I think it's just going to be cementing itself in the larger Star Wars story in a way that Mandalorian couldn't, because it's in a time frame that we don't know, without any real implications with anything except for the very distant future sequel trilogy. And we still don't know how that's going to tie in, but we'll see.
I would have loved to have been sitting around the table with the writers as they're discussing different paths the story could take, and hear their ideas of how they wanted this thing to play out. Pretty neat.
Every death is meaningful. Yes. Even the commander guy who says, "Let the boy go," and gets shot by Cinta in the last episode, even his death was meaningful, because he wasn't wanting to he wasn't just a generic bad guy wanting to kill people. His mission in that moment was don't kill the kid. And so that made us empathize with him. He gets shot in the head, even though that was the right thing to do. We're like, what the heck? He just wanted to save the kid. And so every death is meaningful. You are absolutely right in saying that. So, yeah. Well, I'm very glad that we talked about all this tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the new game segment we had tonight. I thought that was fun.
That was fun.
And hopefully everyone in chat liked that as well. Before you guys go, quick favor to ask of you guys. If all of you guys can comment, capture a command post, and put that in the comment section of the live stream, not just the chat, because that helps with engagement and algorithm. And if you want to like, you can, or dislike. It honestly doesn't really matter. But again, the growth that we've had the last couple weeks is awesome. So many new faces. I'm really glad to have all you guys here.
Such good comments, man. I'm reading these comments
Seriously,
on your videos,
dude,
and
the
it's
chat
just
is, like,
going
on fire
on
today.
and on and
Yeah.
on.
And
Great
seriously, that is what I wanted out of this channel to begin with. And people said from the beginning, like, oh, you're too positive. Why do you like everything? It's like, well, I like Star Wars. Like I'm gonna like stuff. But I always wanted to be able to rationalize why I like these things and pick it apart from a logical standpoint, as opposed to just like, that's the best show ever. And there's other channels that they all have their little niche. Some of them do the breakdowns of each episode. Some of them do the little hidden details. Some of them do the theories. Some of them do the deep dives on this character did this at this exact second, using this type of spoon made on this planet in this year. And my niche is, I guess, just let's have a rational discussion and really philosophically talk about why we like these things. And so if you find yourself at home here, I'm honored that you guys feel the same way. And it feels like a lot of people are thinking the same. They're on the same wavelength. They like to discuss these things, just judging by the comment section. I really appreciate all you guys doing that. If you want to keep doing that a little bit more behind the scenes, join the Discord. You can always do that. But that's going to do it for today. Really appreciate all you guys.
It calls to you.
I had to. But
But
any
people
closing?
are posting, capture a command post in this chat. in
I
the
know.
live chat.
Make sure you capture the command post in the comments section of the video. If you close the live chat and you can see the comment section, capture that command post right in there. And
But they wanted to know why. What does that do?
it just helps with the algorithm, comments, engagements, and stuff, and helps
also an
other people to
epic
be able to.
Battlefront reference.
Yes, that as well. Let's see. Amy said, "How awesome and impactful Andor made TIE fighters." Yes, you were saying that, Father Time. You were saying that last week. Is how scary are these TIE fighters?
Just
and we
one
only
TIE
saw
fighter.
just one TIE fighter. We only saw 3, and they were terrifying. But yeah, I can't even imagine. Even just the shot of the Star Destroyer going over Cinta's head, and you can see how tiny those TIE fighters are on the sides of it.
It's
terrifying.
I got to go back and watch that.
And it's the
so
same
good.
thing that Rogue One did at the very end with the Vader hallway scene. And of course, it's really cool to see Vader actually, doing stuff, blocking all the blasters and stabbing people and slamming them up against the ceiling. That's really cool. But in perspective with the boots on the ground rest of the entire movie, we get to see how on a different level he is. And so that, to a similar situation, that's what the TIE fighters are doing, is we get to see the small details. So now we can zoom out and actually see a larger picture of what's going on. So thanks for that comment. Appreciate all of you guys being here. I really do.
Are we going to do our future thoughts?
Oh, predictions?
Yeah.
All right. What are we getting in next week? Quick closing thoughts.
Quick closing thoughts. Yeah. I don't know about next week, but I think how it's going to play out. I think that Saw Gerrera plays a bigger role in the Rebel side of things than we imagine. And I'm hoping to see that. And I don't know where it'll play out in the rest of the episodes.
Right. And it's very possible that he was a key figure in establishing the rebellion, and that at some point he wanted to take things further than most other people were willing to. And that's why when we see him in Rogue One, he's that extremist. He's that guy that's willing to do the crazy stuff that no one else is willing to do. But he could be a key figure.
He's going to play a bigger role than we think.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with the acting of Forrest
between
Whitaker.
the two of them, between Forrest Whitaker and her, that's going to be.
Forrest Whitaker and Mon Mothma and Luthen Rail.
I think.
And Dedra, because she's just spy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a great scene in Rebels, and if anyone hasn't seen it, it's worth watching, especially to go in with this show, where there's a message that Saw sends to Mon Mothma. He's on the big hologram, and Mon Mothma's talking to him, and you get this sense that he had recently done something so brutal that Mon Mothma's like, "You are not part of this rebellion." Like, she does not consider him part of this. And I feel like that's what we're going to see. We're going to see his brutality, and we're also going to see the brutality of the Empire laying the hammer down.
Yeah,
both
Don,
sides.
I'm sorry for Nightbot. I got to get in there and edit the parameters for what he finds offensive.
I can help you with
You're
that.
not doing anything
It's
wrong.
easy.
I could use some help on that.
Stop spamming emails.
Nightbot is like, don't have any fun. Don't
This isn't
do
the
it.
droid you're looking for.
But yeah, I definitely think that I think they're going to hold out with those 3 episode arcs for the rest of the season, because I know they're doing that with season 2, so it would make sense. But I think next episode we're going to get
Marco, I don't know either.
we're going to get
Sorry.
the people putting in plans to break him out. I think that Vel is going to kill him, but she might have a realization of, no, we need this guy. This guy is going to be so much more important than we can imagine right now. We can't kill him and relay that back to Luthen. I think next week is going to be another boring episode with no action, setting all this up, and then we're going to get the breakout in episode 9. We're going to get the payout, the breakout in episode 9, probably be introduced. What if Vel contracts Saw Gerrera to help break him out?
That could be cool.
That's always possible. But I think that's what we're going to get next week, is another boring, slower episode, even though it's not boring.
Boring in quotes.
If you care. Yeah, boring to some people. I still get so many comments like that, as like, oh, Andor cured my insomnia. Like, what a snooze fest. And my only response to those is like, if that's what you want. Because really, if you want action and you want this show to be boring, it's going to be boring for you. If you want to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy it. And of course, call out stuff that you don't like. That's not a problem. But I think that next week is going to be a boring episode, setting up episode 9 for an epic payoff, breaking him out of prison and setting us into the last and final arc of this first season. So that is my prediction.
Is Cassian penniless now?
Why? Because they confiscated all his monies?
It was above the shower.
Ooh, I don't know.
He's back to where he was before. He's got nothing.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know. We will. Yeah,
So he's going to
we'll
get
find out.
contacted by our museum guy and he'll say, "I'll give you some more money. Come back."
Sure.
Who knows?
They got to break him out first. We'll see. But that is our predictions for next week. A couple days, actually. And I know Aussie is, for Aussie, it's tomorrow, because he's already in our tomorrow. He kept saying that, like, tomorrow's episode. I kept thinking, like, what are you talking about? It's not tomorrow.
Well, he's from the future. So
Yeah. Must be nice.
What's it like out there?
Do we have flying cars yet? Tell us. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show tonight. Again, I appreciate everyone for stopping by. You guys have been awesome in the comment section. Definitely keep up that discussion. Join the Discord if you want to continue that in a more private setting with a smaller group of people, because that's always fun. But I'm just loving this show so far. It's delivering, and I'm not worried anymore. Some of that cautious optimism. No, it's just optimism at this point. I trust that they know what they're doing with this story and with the characters. They've proven themselves by this point. So I don't have any doubts about that. But we will see you guys for my reaction, as well as some shorter videos in between. And then next Monday, we will be breaking down probably Tales of the Jedi, because I think that's coming out on Wednesday as well. So
Somebody mentioned that way at the beginning of chat. All the things that are happening.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about. And I missed out on a lot of quotes. Too many chats to catch up on. But
Amy has a quote there. She's new, right? Haven't seen her
Yes.
before.
I'm trying to look. I can't
Keep
even
it-
see it. I think it's going too fast. I can't even. Oh. Loving Andor. Love the chat, guys. Yes. Appreciate all of you guys in the chat because it's very nice conversing with you and hearing your thoughts on everything. But that's going to do it for the show today. Appreciate you guys all being here. If you've been here from the very beginning of the show, I really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you, and I will see you wherever I happen to see you in the galaxy.